Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. This one I'm gonna call Pause, and hopefully it's gonna be a bit of inspiration for you out there who I don't know. I was getting kind of the vibe from Spirit that it might not be when you need to pause, but how you need to pause. Give me 1 second, actually. I guess, motherfucker, you had to pause right then to wait for me. I just closed the door just to cancel out any noise. Uh, so, what inspired this title was for anyone who's what's the word, following me on my Instagram. There's there's this moment or this situation or situations, I should say, which kept on occurring on my Instagram. And for you lucky people watching this video, I'm going to give you a little insider on something I learned. So with my Instagram, people don't realize that the quotes that I put up on there, a large chunk of them are at least, well, it goes back as far as 6-7 years ago, some of those quotes, all the way up to, I write some new ones occasionally, but the majority of them are up to 7 years old and less. So 6 years old, 5 years old, 4 years old, 3 years old, etc. But I'm still posting quotes over 7 years old, and these quotes were basically inspired by life. When I was on my phone, I used to just put them into my notes, and they formed the quotes that you see on If You Pause. So something beautiful happened, or something beautiful happens in general with those quotes, which is that even for me, when I'm reading those quotes, I'm seeing my past self. So there's something beautiful in there, because I'm like, damn, that is... I'm probably feeling myself a bit too much, but I'm like, damn, that's smart. Damn, that's wise. Or damn, that's brave for even putting that quote out. That was speaking some real truth for you at that time. And I guess in many ways, that's what inspired some of these quotes, is that these were quotes which I wish someone around me had the confidence to speak, so I could maybe show that quote to someone else. Like, here, look, they feel this way too. Look, read this. That makes sense, right? So that's kind of what I wanted my quotes to be like for someone out there. And it doesn't matter what your age you are, but some of them might just be there for you to relate to a certain moment that you've gone through in life or going through in life. So without waffling on, there's something amazing that happens when I'm posting these quotes, because although I'm freshly reminded of the quote when I'm drawing them out, the actual wisdom is 99% of the time from a past me. And there's something beautiful in that. But really, so that's the first bit of beauty. The actual beauty that I came on here to say was how people react. So there was a huge advantage that I got through doing these quotes in this way. Most people do quotes as they think of them and put them out. So what I realized is that people react to these quotes sometimes like I'm currently in that emotion, currently in that thought process, currently in that thinking. And that's really the beauty of what I came on here to say, is that although I'm posting the quote now, that's not actually my current situation. And with that, I'm able to see these comments in a completely different way. So when someone is reacting to one of these quotes, sometimes it's someone giving their own opinion, sometimes it's someone sharing love or support, sometimes it's someone being a smart ass, sometimes it's someone saying something mean, which I usually just delete straight away, but all different kinds of reactions. And what I realized through these quotes being a past version of myself means that I'm less attached to what I'm writing. And when I see a comment now, I can only see the person who's writing to me. I'm only seeing them mirroring themselves back to themselves. So if I was to write a quote and they were to send a message just giving love, for example, I can see that that's kind of what that person is needing themselves, or at least sometimes it's not always needing themselves, sometimes it's emitting themselves, or mirroring to themselves. When someone reads a quote and all they see is bitterness, they're usually feeling bitter or emitting bitter themselves, And like I said, this was the superpower, is that these quotes are very, very rarely reflecting my current self. So it gives me an ability to have somewhat of a detached viewpoint from it. It's almost like, to put this in logical terms, it's hard to give a rational answer when you're still in the emotion of that emotional trigger of something. So let's say if I was to write a quote saying, "There's no happiness after heartbreak." Of course I'm going to think that. Well, to be honest, that's a good quote, to be honest. Again, that's a good one. There's no happiness after heartbreak. Because although I know that that's not true, being out of that, realizing that there is happiness after heartbreak, that actual raw emotion is quite good. Someone maybe needs to hear that, even though that's not very truthful. It's not only until you're out of that heartbreak until you can actually give that full truth. Someone just sneezed there, giving me some confirmation. So I'm not sure if that's making sense to you. These quotes here, I would never have written. There's no. Maybe I'm just giving some people some explanations and some details to some of these quotes. So the way that I think, all of these quotes that I ever post are always with love. So how I would actually word that with the wisdom that I have now would be, although it feels sometimes like there's no happiness after heartbreak, there is. Does that make sense? From that quote that was, "There's no happiness after heartbreak," which is just coming from pain. I come from a place which is always out of love, which is although it seems like there's no happiness after heartbreak, there is. Now, someone who is in heartbreak might just see in that quote, there's no happiness after heartbreak. Do you understand what I'm saying? They miss the part of the love vibration that I've put into that quote. And that's what I've just come to realize. Everyone who's listening to this, I know I might have bored you in the introduction, but that's what I've come to realize. And like I said, the gift that God gave me with this is that there's a sense of detachment and reflection in these quotes, that they are not actually currently expressed. They are actually past quotes that I've written, which are speaking on the wisdom that I've learned. And in many ways, they're a nod to myself, a nod to what I've gone through and how I've evolved and learned. And, you know, like, for anyone who's watching this, when you can look at yourself in the past and be proud of what you've done in the past, you're destined for great things, in my opinion. When you look at your past, and you're not trying to say that your past version was perfect, but when you can say that your past self, your past mindset still carries weight, it's only a matter of time until your moment to shine is coming, you know. So everyone who's listening, thank you for not falling asleep for this introduction. It's been a long one, and I don't know, like, Spirit was just telling me to express this in the intro, because maybe in one way or another it might inspire you, whatever your craft may be. You might be able to relate to this story. And I guess just to finish off this whole introduction, this video is going to be on pausing, and like I said, from doing these quotes and seeing how people react to them, I don't really comment anymore on my Instagram posts, because I realize that there's so much more value in the pause. There's so much more value in the mirror when people are commenting. It's not so much like, you know, you might come across some celebrities and they might say something like, I don't comment because I don't have time to, or they might say, I don't comment on my posts because sometimes they have this vibe like they're above that. And I came to this beautiful realization, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I do comment when I feel to on my Instagram. I no longer comment on my Instagram, at least as much, because there's a beauty in the pause. There's a beauty in letting it just sit. And there's a beauty also in letting other people see what is commented. Not in a gossipy way where people say, like, I'm curious to look at someone's comments on YouTube or something like that. In a way of reflection. In a way that people can look at a comment and go, what made that person say that? What was that mirrored? Do I relate to that? Sometimes there's a gem in the comment. But all I know for me, being the author of my own content, is that my energy is best spent on the pause, is on just letting that be. And that would be my pile for those of you who are about to pick a pile. My pile would be that. So I won't keep you waiting any longer. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. I'm going to get stuck into pile number 1 to enjoy the reading. Okay, pole ones. The why or how, I don't know. We'll see what Spirit's got for us on how to pause. I feel like it's going to be abstract today, so not the prettiest drawing that you've ever seen on the channel, but the message was really quite clear. To be honest, I didn't need the drawing here. The two words came through very clear. And I guess this was almost Spirit saying, yeah, you can do this one quickly. I got, this was like, reminded me of a crab. That was the first word I got, a crab. And then this is a dragon. Now, I don't know, what comes into your head when I say those two things? Something made me say, is the dragon eating the crab? That was one of the first things that I got. And then I was thinking, maybe the dragon and the crab are doing some form of dance together. So this reminds me of, for pole number ones, this is to do with like, I feel like this is to do with like a relationship pause. So I think Spirit is trying to bring to your attention that there's a certain dance that happens between two people in a relationship, and remember to pause in those moments. So, okay, Spirit's giving me some more information here. You know, like in a relationship, sometimes your partner might do some dumb shit, man or female, whoever's watching this, like, let's say if it was, if you're a female watching this and your dude says, oh, just get off your phone. That's not him trying to tell you what to do sometimes. That's him saying, give me more of your attention. And that can go both ways. If you're a female saying that to your dude, do you understand? There's like this dance that goes on, and Spirit is trying to say, instead of getting triggered by that, realize that it's this beautiful dance. You know, like I'm really getting this vibe here of this crab, like doing the little runs from side to side. I don't know why that's making me crack up so much. Like, and the dragon could easily just like munch it up in one bite. Although actually, the dragon here isn't a huge dragon, which is interesting because it's almost showing like a fair fight. You know, it'd be almost like a baby dragon against this full-grown crab. So it's almost like a fair fight, but I am getting this vibe of like the dragon could munch up the crab, but it's enjoying the dance, you know, it's enjoying this ritual. It's enjoying the Spirit's just giving me like the martial arts, is it capoeira? Like the Brazilian dancing martial arts. Like you're fighting, but it's also a dance as well. And that's kind of like Spirit just said, like, bingo, that's it. That's what Spirit is trying to bring your attention to. And like in capoeira, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or if that's what it's called. Can you imagine if two people are doing capoeira and then someone kicks someone and it lands, you know, hits him in the chest? And can you imagine if the man was like, "What are you doing? Why did you kick me in the chest for?" Like that would be really stupid because you're playing the dance of capoeira, or you're fighting the fight of capoeira. That's part of what it's about. And I feel like that's what, this message kind of goes for everyone in relationships, is that there's this certain dance that goes on in relationships, and um, it's like that's why capoeira is capoeira, because there are blows involved in the dance. And some people think that they can go into a relationship and there's no blows, it's always safe. There's always no licks to the head. And I think spirit just wants you to pause there and enjoy the dance instead of going, "What are you doing all the time? Why are you doing that?" And I don't know who this is for out there, but there's like, smile next time uh, you're on a date and the person you're on a date with says something out of line. Smile about it. When you know what they're doing, instead of being triggered, smile about it. It's like alchemizing that energy. If you're in a relationship and your partner does something which is clearly trying to manipulate you, smile about it. Heck it, even bring it up. Catch them out on it. Laugh about how you caught them on it. Like, that's what spirit wants you to do. And just imagine if everyone in a relationship, may it be short term, long term, husband and wife, imagine if everyone in a relationship was able to do that. Relationships would be so much more happy, so much more evolved. And yeah, damn, I've even been inspired by this one. So thank you, Pile Number One's beautiful reading. So that's where you need to pause. It's like when those moments come, instead of seeing it in a negative way, like someone's against you or someone is just really trying to disrespect you or something like that, see the comedy in it. And again, I'm not trying to bullshit anyone out here. Sometimes people be trying to actually disrespect you, and there is a time to pull people up in a serious manner. But I feel like for most of you out there listening to this, that's not what spirit is trying to emphasize. I think for you listening, Pile Number Ones, you know when it's that time, as do I. So it's the other times that spirit wants you to be aware, you know. So, like I said, beautiful reading, Pile Number Ones. Thank you for being here. Please remember to check out the If You Pause website. And as always, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Have an awesome day. Okay, pile number 2 is we've got an abstract one today. Damn, that's all it is. So that reminds me, like, really of, is it Anubis? I think it's Anubis. Okay, yeah, I'm getting more information. Yeah, because I'm getting the scales. I think I might be getting it wrong. If I've got it right or wrong, please in the comments. That's the least you can do, pile number 2s. just correct me on that or say yes, it's Anubis, just so people can get some confirmation. And you don't ever know how long these YouTube readings are going to be out there. So for anyone watching this years from now, a year from now or 10 years from now, if YouTube's still around, just make it easier for that next person. It's a good way to share it, share the love. So someone might research Anubis for the first time and it might take them down that rabbit hole that they need to go on. I was getting the scales. I think it's like the feather and the heart that Anubis is famous for. And I think that's your pause moment. Spirit is saying, give yourself some time to think on that. Give yourself time to think on if your moment was to come now. So, excuse me. If your moment was to come now, what do you think Anubis would Anubis weigh your heart lighter than the feather? I think he would for me, y'all. Part 2, like, I don't give a fuck about your opinions, Ed. Shut up, give me the damn reading. If that's you, your heart heavy. You need to do the work. Ah. Ah. These readings are so fun. They're so fun. So look, Spirit is saying to you, Spirit is saying you might need to just reflect on, hey look, I've got a good analogy for you. I'd say at the time of doing this video, I've gone through a lot of recent changes, and one of the what's the word? One of the mindset perspectives that really changed for me recently. It was kind of last year, but mainly this year, was I kind of started to do this weigh-in with people. Now, any smarty pants out there is going to be like, hey Zed, like, you shouldn't be judging people, like that's only for Anubis to do, or that's only for God to do. But this skill set is very good for people. And the way that I kind of had my little weigh-in scale, which completely changed my life, which was very traumatic, but then very healing at the same time, is I honestly asked myself, has this person created more happiness in my life to discomfort or to pain? And do you know, there's something so raw about that question. And there's something really painful about that question too. Because when you actually do that honestly to your friends and your family, the answers are sometimes incredibly painful. And sayings like, the truth will set you free, start to make a shitload of sense. Sayings like you are the summary of the 5 people you hang around start to make so much sense. And I think what I came to realize is that I was having certain people in my circle because I loved them, but not because they were actually beneficial to my life. And or not because they were creating more happiness in my life than pain in my life. And like I said, the truth will set you free, but it's also can be very painful too. And I think this is another thing that Spirit is trying to let you pause on. When you do that real evaluation of that, gosh, it's like you have to be mentally strong, to be honest. Because when people talk about waking up from the matrix and stuff like that, sometimes that matrix is just the matrix that we've put ourselves in. You know, people are quick to talk about conspiracy theories, government control, ETs, reptilians. Sometimes the prison that we are in is self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. And sometimes the master puppeteer is someone so close to you, but it's too painful to admit. You know? So that was kind of just a deep point here. Point number 2 is if you actually and I'm not meaning to patronize you here, but if you actually listen to what I'm saying here, like really you can change your life. But you do have to take the blinders off. If you actually look at the people around you and ask yourself honestly, has this person created more love in my life than pain in my life? And you all know the answer. And do not be biased. You know, if it's, let's say if it's a parent, do think about the times that they've raised you, cared for you as a child, given you your favorite toy, taken you to school, whatever your parent did. Think about that. Don't just think about the pain and put that to the surface. Give them a fair evaluation. Give them a fair evaluation. And balance that with the negativity that they've given you, the pain they've given you. And when you're able to do that honestly, you're able to press a healthy reset on your life. And I do say judge more with discernment, judge with more care, judge with more wisdom. And I know it goes against all the rules of we should not be judging, but sometimes judging is the right word. Sometimes you need to put that little hammer down and go, the verdict is, you're an arsehole. I need to keep it moving. Well, you need to go, you're actually a good chap, you. You can stay in the circle. Sometimes you need to go, this bitch is gonna cheat on me the first chance she gets. You out of the circle. Sometimes you need to go, You don't know where the fuck you're going. Get out of the circle. Oh, please have pity on me, Anubis. Another thing that I just want to mention here, because it did come through, um, as well as this being like the silhouette of Anubis. I'm not sure if you can kind of see that. It's obviously abstract in the way that it was coming through. But I'm also seeing like a tower on a cliff. It reminds me slightly like if I was to get like a blank piece of paper and do something like that. Can you see like it's just like the skyline of some form of building? It could be fresh from Lord of the Rings or something like that. There's something that reminds me of that, and I just wanted to finish on this message because it's not necessarily like this, like in the tarot where the tower is falling down. Although one might argue it's kind of on this edge cliff, which is a little bit prone to breaking, and obviously the tower would fall down in that case. I'm not really getting that energy though. I'm getting more that this pause moment is going to build you up, you know. And although, you know, this building is built on risky territory, risky foundations, I get something quite solid about this, you know. I get something solid about this, like when you relate this back to the skull of Anubis, this would be Anubis's ear, you know. And it's like, as a building, yeah, if this bit kind of fell off, then the ear would be weak. But how hard is it to rip off the head of Anubis to make his ear weak? Do you understand? Like, it may seem like it's a vulnerable position, but we're talking about the skull, or the skull of Anubis here. From a distance, it looks like this is a weak point, but that's going to take a fair bit of strength to rip this bit off. We're not on a coastline here, you know, it's not giving me that vibe. It's like, this is a solid something. Does that make sense? Like, I just got to drop that in there because it wasn't this energy of vulnerability, of a crackling down tower. Sorry. It was more of building something solid. Like, you could even relate this to like strengthening the ears, strengthening the ability to listen. If this is Anubis's ear, it's the ability, again, we're talking about pause. It's the ability to strengthen the listening. You know, I keep getting that word discernment coming through again. So it's being able to discern in a situation. And that's where your blessings are coming in. Pile number 2. It's been a long one, but I hope you've enjoyed it. Had much fun doing it. If you enjoyed it too, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Okay, part number 3 is no pressure. We've had some really solid readings today, so I hope that I can deliver for you as well. They are going to be abstract. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number 3 is ironic that we've got 3 forms here. So the first thing that I was getting was strength. Trying to figure out how this pause and strength come together. Okay, I get it. This is cool. Yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna pause on this and tell me what you get. I'm gonna give this a slight rotation, a little bit, to inspire you. Just a little. Like this. Does that? Can you see something else now? Even like this. So, because I'm getting heads now, and you could say that's even maybe a table. I can't remember what way this was now. Let's say it was this way. But I'm actually getting the sense here of like two parents protecting something in the middle. You know, two parents. So this could mean, well, it could mean a few things. Use your own intuition, obviously, as always. But I was getting here, you may be pausing for like understanding some form of family dynamic better. Specifically the strength of a family. Protection. I was getting protection kind of vibes, you know, like almost like a shell and then a nut, like the shell of a nut. And even when I'm saying that out loud, I'm getting the shell of a nut. I think Nut is another Egyptian god or goddess, I'm not sure. Nut, you might want to Google Egyptian N-U-T or N-U-T-T. And then a newt, a nut, maybe is another. Do you understand? It's like that, just that tone. I know nut is definitely, I think, an Egyptian god of the sky. Not like Horus, but like the in-between, holding up the heavens. And then I'm getting like a newt or a nut as well. That might be, you know, you can help out in the comments because it's giving me, it's like on the edge of my tongue, and it's giving me a certain vibration, like I'm close, but I just don't know really. I don't have the logical knowledge to point you in the right direction, but you might just want to Google like a newt and a nut. A newt. See what comes up. So yeah, it gives, you know, when I'm looking at this now again, I'm seeing almost like the birth of a pharaoh and having the strong parents. You know, that's what I'm getting here. Like again, it's like the birth of a pharaoh, and then he or she is protected by the parents, has that family strength. Really, this is a really specific one, pile freeze. I was going to say if this isn't really relating to you in terms of a family unit, i.e. you don't have kids or someone's not pregnant or you're trying to start a family, if that's not you, It could also be looking and reflecting back at your own childhood and reflecting on that dynamic between your parents, reflecting on the fact of, were they able to protect you? Like, let's be honest, whoever this child is in the middle, they're pretty damn lucky. Like, because from this vibration, if I was to imagine a child in here, they are loved, they are protected. And this isn't giving me the energy of, what's it, over cuddling? I can't remember that word, it's not cuddling, but, you know, like overprotecting. I'm not getting that energy at all with this. And I think it might be to do with the fact that this, for one, this child to me seems somewhat precious, but also like young enough to not be overly, can't remember that word, but I'm getting like, it's not cuddled. But that word, whatever that word is, I'm not getting that vibe. I'm just getting the vibe of like, these two parents intuitively know how special this child is. And I don't know, like, we could reflect that to all of us, really, isn't it? It's like, aren't we all special, you know? Don't we all deserve that? And maybe that's where society is fucking up too. It's like, how common is that nowadays? To have two damn parents who love you to death. No, I'm laughing. Shit. Like, the truth is pretty deep though, isn't it? It's like, damn. It's like, it's not as common as we would like to think, is it? You know? I don't know, I don't mean to turn this dark, but it's kind of true. Shout out to the people out there who's listening to this who have had two loving parents beside them throughout their childhood. But the actual reality is that a lot of the times one of these sides are opened. One of these sides are not there. And that creates a whole side of vulnerability. And I'm looking at this again and I'm seeing something else which is beautiful. It's like the lower and the upper have these gaps. And it's almost to say like, you know, let's turn it this way. I think that makes more sense, at least in my mind. It's almost like the channeling from God is allowed to enter the child, and the grounding of that energy is allowed to release from that child too. So it's like they're protected from the darkness of this world, but they're still able to receive from God, and they're still able to connect to the earth or ground through the earth. And ain't that beautiful in itself? Like, just that little detail there that came through. So I think, you know, that's your reading pretty much, pile number 3s. I've given you something there to pause on, and just in your own time, just, I guess, do that inner work. Go down that rabbit hole of what does what I've said mean to you? What does that whole dynamic of, if it's you being a parent or going back to your childhood, how does that make you feel when we're talking about words like strength, protection, and possibly, you know, if you've got any childhood wounds there, how do you protect yourself now? And in turn, I'm sure that would make you a better parent of the future if you're not already a parent. So poem number 3 is, if you enjoyed the reading, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.